The Falcon and the Winter Soldier, Episode 1, New World Order, dun dun dun, has dropped. Was it epic? Was it a strong open to this show? What did you think? Let's talk about that in the comments. Yeah, I thought it was good. Welcome to Durbania. I'm Durbin, and this is my spoiler talk review for The Falcon and the Winter Soldier, Episode 1, New World Order. That's a pretty ominous title right there, but I love it, dealing with the world and how it's changed because of the blip. So I don't want to give this a letter grade yet. And the reason is, like with WandaVision, I want to get the whole season, the whole story right there in front of me. And once I have that, I'll give the entire season an A through F. But for right now, here's what I'll say. This was a really good episode, and I thought it was a very strong opening for The Falcon and the Winter Soldier. It's a premiere. It did its job, and it got me hooked. It played on my nostalgia as a Marvel fan. It pulled me right back into these characters who I already love and into their worlds, and it made me care about them more and what they were going through. So this episode did a great job, as well as laying the breadcrumbs that there's some pretty big things on the horizon. So I am very much so looking forward to seeing the story of the season and where this season is gonna go. I love how it opened. It opened with this amazing action sequence where you got Sam, the Falcon, on the job, flying through the sky. And one of the things I loved is this open was Sam taking on the same dude that Captain America took on in the opening action sequence in Captain America, the Winter Soldier. And so already it gives you Winter Soldier vibes, not just because of that cameo, but because of the action. And it just was so cool to get that vibe, because what it does is it brings us right back, not just into the Marvel world, but right back into the Captain America world. The Captain America story and legacy is now going to be carried on. The shield was given to Sam for him to be the next Captain America, to fill those shoes. And it's kind of interesting and it's kind of sad because we really see him struggling with that. I'm looking forward to getting deeper into his struggles. For right now, and just watching this episode, it feels like those are big shoes to fill, and he doesn't know if he could fill them. The shield still doesn't feel like it's his. It feels like it's somebody else's. It feels like it's Cap's. So we have this amazing action sequence, and then it concludes, and we get into him donating the shield to the Smithsonian. And it's like, oh, Sam, take up the shield. It is your birthright. Well, maybe not his birthright, but it was the torch passed on to you. Take it up. And what was very cool was getting Rhodey, War Machine. I was not expecting that. That was another thing that just brought me right back into the greater MCU, to have Rhodey, to have WandaVision. I almost said WandaVision. To have War Machine back and saying, dude, take up the mantle. This is your mantle to take up. But Sam he's hesitating a little bit with that. And it's interesting because I think part of it is the blip, right? He disappeared for 5 years and he comes back, and we meet his sister and his nephews. His nephews were like babies when he vanished, and as he said, now they're like little men. And so he's kind of dealing with that. And so maybe there's a little bit of family nostalgia going on because like he's been gone. It's like he's got a second chance, and now he's got family and their business is struggling. And you know that the family boat that they have in Louisiana, I'm feeling sentimental towards it. Like he just doesn't want to let the boat go. It was a part of their lives and a part of their childhood. And I do assume like he would always feel that attachment to that, but I would assume that what made that stronger is the fact that for all intents and purposes, it's like he was dead for 5 years and then resurrected and given a second chance. He never would have had that second chance without the Avengers doing what they did 5 years later to win that war and bring him back. So you got to think there's so many emotions going on there, and he's just not willing to let go of that boat and do whatever it takes. I mean, his sister had a hard time with letting go of the boat, but she came to terms with it, and here he is, like, he's picking at those wounds, like, no, we got to keep the boat. And so it's like you're right there with Sam as he's trying to hold the family together while he's kind of resisting his call. Like the call to action has been given to him. Take up the mantle, and you just see his resistance. So I'm already looking forward to Sam's character arc, which I think is going to build to him accepting the call. And we established a good character arc beginning for Bucky. I like how, in the therapy session that Bucky was having, they did mention he had a moment of calm when he was in Wakanda. But it also dealt with the reality of the mind that he spent 90 years as the Winter Soldier doing all kinds of just shady, dark, and evil things, putting bad people into power. And now, with his therapist, he's working on making amends. And what's interesting about that is it guts you in the beginning. Because it opens with Bucky's nightmare of one of his flashbacks when he was the Winter Soldier. And here he is taking out this guy, and this innocent bystander just happens to be trying to get in his hotel room, scared, shaking, trying to unlock the door. And so he just walks up and kills that guy because, he was a witness to, the assassination. So you can't have those loose threads, so he kills that guy. And so there's this old man that Bucky has befriended. That Bucky, he takes him to get sushi. The old man hilariously asked out the waitress for Bucky. So now Bucky has a date. So it does a really good job of establishing there's a connection between Bucky and this man. And then you find out Bucky killed this man's son. This is part of his amends. Like, he's struggling with telling this man the truth of what happened to his son. And then even when Bucky is finally on a date with this girl, and I was happy for Bucky. Like, it did a good job. I was happy Bucky was doing something normal and was out on a date. I was like, yeah, you go. But then right there on the date, they had to bring up that old man and talk about how he was changed after his son died, and how just it's the not knowing why he died, not knowing what happened that has really changed him. And it's sad because there goes Bucky to the door to try to tell that man what actually happened. And then when he sees the memorial set up for that man's son, like, it's heartbreaking. So right here between Sam and Bucky, they're establishing a great starting point for a really interesting character arc. And then there's all kinds of interesting things going on. I mean, we got this group, the Flag Smashers. Now, this definitely looks like it's gonna go somewhere interesting. And even though it's not called Hydra, I find it interesting because they're called the Flag Smashers because they want no borders. They want to get it back to, I guess, where the world was during the 5 years when people were gone. And so they want to smash the borders. They want to smash the flags. And what it reminded me of, again, was Captain America, the First Avenger, where that was the dream of Red Skull. Red Skull's dream was there would be no flags, there would be no nations. And Captain America's like, not in my future! And their battle continues and all that stuff. So I know this isn't Hydra, but I'm sure it's connected because it's carrying on that theme. And this is very cool. And then you have that one superpower dude who showed up in the mask and beat the snot out of that kid, which I didn't like. So, I mean, you have that kid who was working with Sam and they had lunch together, and I thought he was I forget his name, but I thought he was a cool character. And so I hope we get more of him. And here he was trying to figure out who the Flag Smashers are, and then he gets his butt handed to him by this dude who's got like super strength. So like, interesting things are happening there, and I'm looking forward to seeing where's that gonna go over the season. And let's not forget the ending here, the new Captain America with the freaking shield taken out of the Smithsonian, given to this dude. Now look, I haven't read a lot of Marvel comics, I really haven't, so I honestly don't know anything about this Captain America. I don't know anything about this guy if he's in the comics. So for me, I'm going into this very cold. And again, like with WandaVision, I like that. I like not knowing where this is actually going to go. I'm looking forward to the return of Zemo because I'm sure Zemo has a lot to do with the Flag Smashers and all that stuff that's going on. I wouldn't be surprised if Zemo is working with this Captain America and he's planted in here. I don't know, but it's suspicious, right? I mean, here's Sam watching the news and the government's announcing a new superhero, Captain America, to embody America. Here he is. Can you really announce a new superhero like that? From what we've seen, they have a crazy origin story, they accept the call to action, and then they humbly rise up. So this is odd, this is fishy, and I've seen in the trailers, like, this guy at football games and giving people high fives, and so we're getting the beginning of this false Captain America. So I think this episode did a great job establishing the character arcs and what the arcs are going to end up being. And I'm looking forward to that. It did a great job establishing story and those elements where this is going to grow. What is it going to grow into? So there's a lot of things I'm very much so looking forward to, plus that action-packed Captain America Winter Soldier vibe. I loved it. The action in this show is fantastic, and I can't wait to see more of it. So I'm hooked. It did its job. What did you think of this first episode of Captain America? The Falcon and the Winter Soldier. What did you think? Let's talk about that in the comments. While you're there, hit the subscribe button to become a Durbanian, and hit that bell by the subscribe button so you're notified for my next Falcon and the Winter Soldier review, movie review, ranking video, theological analysis, trailer reaction, or anything else I do here. I'm Durbin. Thanks for checking out Durbania.